Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to the English Globe podcast, your favorite place to learn English through real, meaningful conversations. I'm Adam, and I'm so happy that you've joined us for another exciting episode. Whether you are walking through your city, relaxing at home, studying in your room, or commuting to work or school, thank you for choosing us to be part of your day. This is going to be a very interesting conversation that we think you'll really enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia, and it's great to be back here with you. In today's episode, we are going to talk about something big, something bold, and something that's creating headlines all over the world. Yes, we're talking about Elon Musk, but not just about his electric cars, his rockets, or his social media platform. We're talking about the idea that he might be planning to create a third political party in the United States. Can you believe that?
That's right, Julia. Elon Musk is already one of the most powerful and influential people in the world. He has changed how we think about technology, transportation, and even space exploration. But now, he might be stepping into a new world, the world of politics. And if he really does it, it could shake the American political system in a way we've never seen before. That's why we chose this topic for today's episode.
It's important because the United States has had a two-party political system for a very long time. Most people vote for either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, but there are many Americans who feel that neither party truly represents them. They want new ideas, new leadership, and new voices. Elon Musk might be trying to give them that through a new political party. But is it even possible? And what would it mean for the future of the US?
That's exactly what we're going to explore in this episode. We'll talk about Musk's possible motivations, the challenges he would face, the history of third parties in America, and how something like this could change democracy in the United States forever. It's a big topic, but we'll break it down into simple English so that you can understand every part of it while improving your listening and vocabulary skills.
Before we dive deeper into today's topic, we want to ask you a small favor. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The English Globe. Your support helps us reach more English learners around the world. We love creating these long, educational and entertaining episodes just for you, and your likes and subscriptions really mean a lot to us.
Also, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell us where you're listening from. Are you in India, Brazil, Nigeria, Pakistan, Mexico, or maybe somewhere else? We are always amazed by how many different countries our listeners come from. It's like we're building a global English learning family, and every comment you leave makes us feel more connected to all of you.
And don't forget to share your thoughts about today's topic. Do you think Elon Musk would make a good political leader? Do you believe America needs a third political party? Or do you think this is just another wild idea that might not go anywhere? Whatever your opinion is, we'd love to read your comments. Sharing your thoughts in English is also a great way to practice writing and expressing yourself.
So, get comfortable, grab your headphones, or turn up the volume, because we're about to begin a very interesting journey through politics, technology, leadership, and change. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced English learner, this podcast is for you. Just listen closely, repeat new words, and try to understand the big picture. And don't worry, we'll explain everything in a clear, slow, and simple way.
We know that political topics can sometimes feel difficult or complicated, especially when they involve new vocabulary or ideas. But our goal at the English Globe is to help you learn through topics that matter. That way, you're not just improving your English, you're also becoming more informed about the world. And today's topic is something that many people are talking about in America and beyond.
All right then, dear listeners, are you ready? Let's begin our discussion about Elon Musk's bold idea of creating a third political party in the US. Is this just a fantasy? Or is it the start of a political revolution led by one of the world's most powerful tech billionaires? Let's find out step by step in today's special episode. Stay with us all the way to the end. You won't want to miss a single part of this conversation. Now let's talk more about Elon Musk himself, the man who might be ready to change American politics forever. Elon is not just a businessman, he's an inventor, a visionary, and some people even call him a genius. He's the CEO of Tesla, the founder of SpaceX, the owner of X, formerly Twitter, and the brain behind Neuralink, a company trying to connect the human brain with computers. His ideas are bold, controversial, and almost always surprising to the public and media.
Because of his enormous influence and global reputation, whatever Elon Musk says or does quickly becomes international news. That's why, when he started talking about political ideas, especially the idea of creating a new political party, people all over the world began paying attention. Some laughed, some felt excited, and others were deeply concerned. But what's clear is that nobody ignored it. That shows how powerful and important his voice has become in today's world.
And this is definitely not the first time Elon Musk has been involved in politics. In the past few years, he's been very active on social media, especially on X, sharing his strong opinions on government policy, free speech, economic freedom, taxes, immigration, and more. He said he used to vote for Democrats, but became unhappy with both parties. Recently, he has been more open about his political thoughts and how he believes the system in America is failing the people.
Exactly, Adam. At one point, Elon tweeted that he would vote Republican in future elections, even though he had supported Democrats in the past. That tweet shocked many of his followers and made millions of Americans ask, why is Musk suddenly supporting Republicans? Later, he made another statement saying the two-party system is broken and that both parties are controlled by special interests. These comments caused big discussions across media platforms.
After those statements, Elon Musk began to share more serious thoughts. He didn't just criticize the two parties. He started suggesting that there might be a better way. He talked about the possibility of forming a new political party, one that could focus on logic, innovation, freedom of speech, and scientific thinking. This idea, though still vague, caught the attention of many people. It made them wonder if Musk was preparing something even bigger than his businesses.
When Elon Musk speaks, his words travel fast, especially online. He has tens of millions of followers, and many of them see him as a modern-day genius. Some people even believe he's the only one who can fix what's wrong with the system. But is he really serious? Is he going to build a political movement? Or is he just using his platform to pressure the government to change? That's what people are trying to figure out right now, and that's why this is such a big story.
If we look at Elon Musk's past, we see a pattern. He says things that sound impossible, and then he actually does them. When he said he wanted to build reusable rockets, people laughed. Now his company, SpaceX, is sending astronauts into space and helping NASA. When he said he'd make electric cars popular, people didn't believe him. Today, Tesla is the world's most valuable car company. That's why people are now asking, what if he's serious about politics too?
And if he is, we need to understand what that means. Musk has changed multiple industries: cars, space, energy, and even communication. He's known for disrupting traditional systems and making them more efficient, more futuristic, and sometimes more controversial. If he enters politics, he might try to do the same thing: disrupt the system, remove old structures, and introduce new, fast-moving ideas that traditional politicians aren't ready to handle.
And let's not forget that Elon Musk doesn't fit easily into one political category. He's not fully left or right. He supports green energy and science, but also economic freedom and reduced government control. He believes in free speech, but he's also talked about needing responsibility online. This makes him unpredictable, but also attractive to a wide range of people who don't feel connected to either Democrats or Republicans.
In fact, that's what makes this idea of a new party so interesting. Musk represents a kind of modern, tech-driven ideology. Some call it libertarian, others call it centrist, and some say it's something completely new. If he built a political party around these values, technology, science, innovation, and personal freedom, it might attract young voters, entrepreneurs, and people who feel frustrated with old political rules and leadership.
Also, remember that Musk owns X, the platform where millions of people share news, ideas, and political opinions. This gives him a powerful tool for communication, influence, and organizing people. Imagine a political campaign where the candidate also owns the most popular communication network. That could completely change how elections work. Musk could reach people directly without needing the traditional media at all, and that's a major advantage.
However, having that kind of power is also risky. Critics say that combining political influence with control over media platforms and major companies like Tesla and SpaceX could create serious conflicts of interest. Some people worry that this kind of power could be abused. They ask questions like, will Musk use his companies to promote his politics? Will people be able to disagree with him on X? These are big concerns if he moves deeper into politics.
That's right, Julia. There's also a question of how serious he is. Some people think Elon Musk likes to test ideas in public just to see how people react. They believe he's just having a conversation, not actually planning a political movement. But others argue that's exactly how he starts new projects, by throwing out ideas, watching the response, and then quietly building behind the scenes. If that's true, his political plans may already be in motion.
So, to answer the big question, is Elon Musk just making noise, or is he preparing for something real? Right now, we don't know for sure, but given his past, we can say this. If he does decide to launch a new political party, it won't be a joke. He will likely bring serious money, smart people, strong technology, and huge public attention. And that could be a game changer not just for the US, but for the entire idea of how modern democracies operate.
Yes, Julia, and this is why we need to keep paying attention. Whether you like Elon Musk or not, he has the power to start movements, shape opinions, and build things that change the world. If he really wants to change politics, then the United States might be entering a new era, one where tech billionaires are not just building apps or rockets, but also building political systems and parties. It's a powerful idea, and also a little bit scary to some people.
In the next section, we'll take a closer look at the history of third political parties in the United States. This will help us understand why it's so difficult to start a new party in America, what others have tried in the past, and what lessons Musk could learn if he decides to go forward. Stay with us. It's going to be a fascinating part of our journey into politics, language learning, and modern leadership.
Before we talk more about Elon Musk's new idea, we need to understand the history of third political parties in the United States. The American political system has been dominated by two main parties for over 160 years, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. But that doesn't mean other parties haven't tried to break in. In fact, many third parties have appeared throughout U.S. history, and some of them made a big impact, even if they didn't win.
That's right. The first major third-party movement happened back in the 1800s. One of the earliest examples was the Anti-Masonic Party, which appeared in the 1820s. Later, in the 1840s and 1850s, the Free Soil Party and Know Nothing Party challenged the big parties. But it wasn't until 1912 that a third-party candidate made a serious run for the White House. That man was Theodore Roosevelt, who had already been president once before.
Exactly, Julia. Roosevelt didn't like how the Republican Party was being run, so he created the Progressive Party, also known as the Bull Moose Party. In the 1912 election, he won over 27% of the national vote, even more than the Republican candidate. That was a historic moment, and it showed that a third-party candidate could really compete. But even then, he still didn't win. The Democratic candidate Woodrow Wilson became president instead.
Since then, many third-party efforts have come and gone. One of the most famous was Ross Perot in 1992. He was a billionaire businessman, just like Elon Musk, and he ran as an independent. He focused on reducing the national debt and fixing the economy. Perot shocked the world by winning almost 19% of the popular vote, more than any independent candidate since Roosevelt. But again, he didn't win a single electoral vote.
That's one of the biggest challenges for third parties in America. Even if they get millions of votes, the U.S. uses a system called the Electoral College, where each state has a set number of votes based on population. To win the presidency, a candidate must win the majority of these state-based electoral votes. That means it's not enough to be popular nationwide. You have to win individual states, which is very difficult for small or new parties.
And the problems don't stop there. Each state has its own ballot access laws, which means a new party must collect thousands of signatures, fill out paperwork, and pay fees just to get their name on the election ballot. This takes time, money, and a team of lawyers and volunteers. Most third-party efforts fail before they even reach this stage. That's why starting a political party in America is much harder than in other countries with different voting systems.
Yes. And another issue is something called the wasted vote problem. Many Americans want change, but they're afraid to vote for a third party because they think that vote won't make a difference. Instead, they vote for the lesser of two evils between Democrats and Republicans. That fear of wasting a vote has helped keep the two-party system strong for so long. Even if people don't like it, they stay with it because they feel trapped by the system.
Also, don't forget about the debate rules. The presidential debates, which are broadcast to millions of people, are usually only open to Democratic and Republican candidates. Third-party candidates have to meet very high standards just to be invited, usually 15% in national polls. That means most people never even hear what third-party candidates have to say. Without media coverage or national debates, they remain invisible to most voters.
So with all these challenges, you might ask, why even try? Why would someone like Elon Musk want to take on something so difficult? The answer might be that sometimes, just by running and speaking out, third-party candidates can influence national debate, even if they don't win. For example, Ralph Nader, who ran in 2000 with the Green Party, helped push the topic of environmental protection onto the national stage.
That's an important point. Even though Ralph Nader didn't win, his ideas became part of the conversation. And later, Democrats and Republicans began to adopt some of those ideas to appeal to younger voters. So in some cases, third parties act like idea factories. They test new messages, challenge the status quo, and force the bigger parties to change. Elon Musk may not be trying to win immediately. He may just want to reshape the future conversation.
Another famous example is the Libertarian Party, which has been around for decades. Though it hasn't won big elections, it consistently gets votes from people who support individual freedom, less government control, and personal responsibility. Candidates like Ron Paul and Gary Johnson used their campaigns to promote libertarian ideas. Over time, these ideas influenced debates about taxes, gun rights, and civil liberties.
So what can we learn from these past third-party efforts? First, they're difficult, but not impossible. Second, they take time. No third party becomes successful overnight. It takes years to build support, organize voters, and earn public trust. And third, even without winning, they can still make a difference. If Musk is thinking long-term, he might be starting something that could grow slowly and become powerful by the next generation of voters.
That's a great way to look at it, Julia. Elon Musk doesn't have to win the 2028 election to make an impact. He could simply start the conversation, create a platform, and support other candidates who believe in innovation, freedom of speech, and science-based decision-making. Over time, that platform could evolve into something much bigger. It's a slow process, but with the right vision, it could really work.
And of course, with Elon Musk's money, media attention, and online presence, he already has an advantage that most past third-party candidates didn't have. He owns the microphone, the audience, and the influence. If anyone can break the rules of traditional politics, it might be him. But we still have to ask, will Americans support a third party again? Or will they stay loyal to the old system?
That's the big question, and it's one that we'll keep exploring in this episode. In the next section, we'll take a look at why now might be the perfect time for a new political party to emerge in America. With growing public frustration, new technology, and cultural shifts, the U.S. may be more ready than ever for bold change. So stay with us, dear listeners. Things are just getting more exciting. Now that we understand the challenges and history of third parties in America, let's take a closer look at why now might be the perfect time for someone like Elon Musk to step into politics. The year is 2025, and the political climate in the United States has become more divided, emotional, and unstable than ever before. Many citizens feel like they're stuck between two extremes, and they are desperately looking for fresh voices and new solutions.
That's right, Adam. Over the past decade, we've seen growing frustration with both the Democratic and Republican parties. Americans have watched politicians argue constantly, while many problems remain unsolved. Whether it's climate change, rising costs of living, healthcare, or immigration, people feel like both parties are more focused on fighting each other than on helping everyday citizens. This anger and disappointment are growing stronger each year.
And let's not forget the role of social media and technology in all of this. People are more connected than ever before, but they are also more divided. Online platforms, including Musk's own X, have made it easier to spread both information and misinformation. Politics now moves at the speed of the internet, and public opinion can shift in just a few hours. This creates a chaotic environment where traditional politicians are struggling to keep up.
Exactly. And that's where Elon Musk comes in. He represents a kind of leadership that's fast, direct, and tech-savvy. He's not afraid to speak his mind, and he often says things that challenge political correctness or traditional thinking. For many Americans, especially younger generations, that's refreshing. They want leaders who aren't fake or controlled by special interests. They want someone who speaks plainly and understands how the modern world works.
And there's something else happening too: the rise of independent voters. More Americans than ever before are saying they don't trust either major party. They don't call themselves Democrat or Republican. They're simply looking for good ideas, no matter where those ideas come from. According to recent surveys, nearly 40% of voters now identify as independent, which is more than either party alone. That's a huge opportunity for a new movement.
That's a good point, Adam. And when people feel politically homeless, they're more open to bold alternatives. The current political climate is like dry wood waiting for a spark, and Elon Musk, with his fame, wealth, and communication tools, could be that spark. He might not only offer a new party, but also a new way of thinking about politics, one that uses science, reason, and technology instead of just emotion or party loyalty.
And the truth is, America has reached a point where many of its systems feel old and slow. The government struggles to make decisions quickly, even in emergencies. While companies like SpaceX are sending rockets into space within weeks, politicians are still arguing about budgets and laws from decades ago. For people watching this, especially younger generations, it feels like the political system is broken and stuck in the past.
That's why Musk's message about change could be so powerful right now. He can say, if we can send rockets to Mars, why can't we fix education? If we can build self-driving cars, why can't we solve healthcare or tax reform? These kinds of questions appeal to modern voters who are tired of excuses and want action. In 2025, voters are more willing to believe that outsiders like Musk might do a better job than career politicians.
And let's not ignore the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, which changed the world and the way governments operate. People now expect more flexibility, more innovation, and more technology in their daily lives. They want systems that are smart and efficient, not stuck in old ways. Governments were slow to adapt during the pandemic, while private companies moved quickly. That changed how people see leadership, and that shift still affects voting behavior today.
And speaking of leadership, it's also important to mention how trust in institutions is declining. From Congress to the media to major corporations, people feel like they've been lied to or ignored. There's a growing belief that the system works for the rich and powerful, but not for the average person. If Elon Musk can convince people that he is different, that he will fight for innovation and fairness, then many may listen, especially in this environment.
Also, many Americans feel that their voices aren't being heard. They vote, but nothing changes. They protest, but nothing improves. They work hard, but prices go up and wages stay the same. In moments like these, when the system feels deaf to public needs, people begin to dream of revolution. Not through violence, but through new ideas, new movements, and new leaders. That dream is where Musk might try to place himself.
And let's not forget the cultural changes. In 2025, people care more about identity, equality, environment, and global responsibility than ever before. Many traditional politicians still use outdated language and ideas, but younger voters want forward-thinking policies. They want to talk about climate change, digital rights, mental health, and artificial intelligence. And who understands those topics better than Elon Musk?
That's the question, isn't it? Elon Musk lives in the future. He builds things that most people can't even imagine. So if someone like him starts talking seriously about politics, a lot of people might follow. Not because they trust politics, but because they trust him. That trust is rare in politics, and in 2025, it may be the key to something new. In this climate of uncertainty and division, trust in innovation may be stronger than trust in tradition.
So, let's bring it all together. The political climate in 2025 is full of frustration, disconnection, and a hunger for new leadership. People are tired of the same debates, the same broken promises, and the same slow progress. That creates the perfect moment for someone like Elon Musk to step forward and say, "Let's do things differently." Whether people agree or not, the idea itself is powerful, and that's what makes this topic so exciting.
In the next section of our podcast, we'll take a look at what a Musk political party might actually look like. What values would it promote? Who would join it? Would it be more about technology, personal freedom, or problem solving? Or would it be something entirely new? Stay with us, dear listeners, because we're going to explore the possible shape of this bold new movement in the next part of our conversation. Now that we've looked at the history of third parties and the political mood in 2025, it's time to imagine something very interesting. What would Elon Musk's political party actually look like? If he truly decided to launch a third party, what kind of values would it promote? What would be its goals? Who would support it? And how would it be different from Democrats and Republicans? Let's explore what this bold new party could be.
That's a great question, Adam, and it's one that people are already talking about online. Musk has never officially announced a full political platform, but based on his interviews, tweets, and public behavior, we can make a few educated guesses. First of all, a Musk-led political party would probably be focused on technology and innovation. He believes that the future belongs to those who build, invent, and create solutions to hard problems.
Exactly, Julia. Elon often says that governments are too slow and too focused on short-term thinking. He believes we should make decisions based on facts, data, and long-term goals. So his political party might promote science-based policies that support research, clean energy, space exploration, and artificial intelligence. He may also push for governments to work more like startups, fast, efficient, and focused on problem-solving instead of endless debates.
And we know Musk is a strong supporter of free speech. Since buying X, he has made many changes to allow people to speak more openly online, even when their views are controversial. So, freedom of expression would likely be a major value in his party. He believes that people should be able to question authority, challenge popular opinions, and explore uncomfortable ideas. That's something many voters, especially younger ones, would strongly support.
Another major theme could be personal responsibility and individual freedom. Musk often speaks against government overreach and supports the idea that people should be able to make their own choices. This includes choices about business, education, technology, and even health. A Musk party might want fewer regulations, lower taxes for small businesses, and more opportunities for entrepreneurs and inventors to grow without being blocked by red tape.
He might also support education reform, especially programs that promote science, engineering, and computer programming. Elon has often said that the current education system is outdated and doesn't prepare young people for the future. His party could support new models of learning, maybe online platforms, skill-based training, and personalized learning instead of traditional classroom systems. He might push for national investment in schools that teach future-ready skills.
And don't forget about climate and energy policy. While Musk has criticized some environmental policies for being inefficient, he has also built one of the world's most important clean energy companies, Tesla. He believes in reducing carbon emissions, but through innovation rather than strict government control. His party could support electric vehicles, solar power, battery storage, and sustainable city designs instead of oil subsidies or outdated infrastructure.
That's true. Musk doesn't like waste, whether it's in business or government. His party might focus on efficiency and transparency, making sure taxpayer money is used smartly and not wasted on unnecessary programs. He might also support blockchain technology to make government systems more secure and open. This could include things like digital voting, smart contracts, and automated systems that reduce human error and corruption.
But what kind of people would actually join a Musk political party? That's a fascinating question. We might see support from young tech workers, entrepreneurs, engineers, and students who feel inspired by Musk's achievements. These are people who admire innovation and don't feel represented by old political leaders. We could also see support from independent thinkers, people who like freedom, logic, and don't want to follow traditional left or right ideologies.
There might also be people from the business world, investors, startup founders, and professionals who believe in free markets and smart technology. They may not agree with everything Musk says, but they might support his idea that government should work more like a business. They want less bureaucracy and more action. Many of these people already admire Musk as a leader who makes things happen instead of just talking about them.
But it's also likely that a Musk party would face resistance. Some people would say that tech billionaires should not be running politics. Others might feel that Musk's views are too unpredictable, or that he changes his mind too often. He's known for being bold and sometimes controversial, so not everyone would trust him with political power. There would definitely be debates about whether someone like him should be involved in writing laws or leading the country.
That's very true. Critics might say that Musk is great at building rockets and cars, but politics is about people, not just problems. Running a government requires empathy, experience, and diplomacy. Would a Musk-led party understand the needs of the poor, the elderly, or minorities? Would it protect social programs like healthcare and education, or focus too much on technology and business growth? These are serious questions voters would ask.
Still, for many people, just the idea of a fresh political option is exciting. They're tired of Democrats and Republicans always fighting and making little progress. Even if Musk doesn't have all the answers, people may want to give someone new a chance. His party wouldn't have to be perfect. It would just have to be different enough to give people hope that something better is possible. And sometimes, that's all it takes to start a movement.
So in summary, a Musk political party might be built around a few key principles: innovation, freedom, responsibility, efficiency, and science-based thinking. It would likely attract young, independent voters and those tired of the current system. It could focus on issues like clean energy, digital privacy, smarter education, and government reform. And even if it didn't win right away, it could completely change how we talk about politics in the future.
Exactly, Julia. Musk is not just talking about building a political party. He might be planting the seeds for a new political culture, one where technology, creativity, and action are more important than old ideologies. And even if his movement doesn't succeed immediately, it could inspire other leaders to rise and continue pushing for a more modern, efficient, and honest system. That alone would be a big achievement.
In the next section, we'll talk about how the world is reacting to all of this. What do politicians, the media, and the public think about Musk's idea? Is there excitement, fear, or just confusion? Let's find out together in the next part of this English learning podcast on the English Globe. Don't go anywhere. Things are about to get even more interesting.
So far, we've talked about what Elon Musk's political party might look like, but now it's time to explore something just as important: how people are reacting to this idea. Because when someone like Musk speaks, the world listens. And when he talks about entering politics, it triggers strong reactions from every corner: voters, media outlets, politicians, business leaders, and activists. Let's take a closer look at both the support and the opposition.
That's right, Adam. Let's start with public reaction. Among regular people, the response is mixed, but powerful. Some Americans are excited. They say the current political system has failed, and they believe someone like Musk, who has already revolutionized industries, could do the same for government. His fans see him as honest, bold, and effective, qualities they believe are missing in today's political leaders. To them, Musk feels like a breath of fresh air.
Yes, and for many young people, especially those under 35, Musk is a cultural icon. They grew up watching him send rockets into space and challenge old ideas. So when he talks about running a political movement, they don't laugh. They get curious. Many of these younger voters are frustrated with traditional politics, and they're looking for someone who can understand their generation's challenges: digital privacy, mental health, climate change, and innovation.
On the other hand, there are also people who don't trust Musk at all. Some say he's too unpredictable. One day he supports something, the next day he changes his mind. Critics argue that he's impulsive and sometimes careless with his words, especially on social media. They worry that if he leads a political party, those same habits could create chaos. Politics, they say, is not like launching rockets. It requires patience, stability, and listening.
And some are afraid that billionaires already have too much influence, and giving them even more political power could be dangerous. These critics believe that the rich should not be allowed to shape government policy directly. They say Musk should focus on his companies and let elected officials lead the country. They fear that if he enters politics, he might use his wealth and technology to push personal interests rather than the public good.
The media has also responded strongly. Some newspapers and TV channels have praised Musk's bold thinking, calling it an opportunity to shake up a broken system. Others have warned that his entrance into politics could lead to more division and even instability. Some journalists admire his courage, while others say he's just seeking attention or trying to protect his business empire by influencing political decisions.
Political leaders have had mixed reactions, too. A few younger politicians from both major parties have welcomed the idea, saying that competition is good for democracy. They believe that if Musk brings new voters into the system, that could be healthy for the country. But many powerful politicians, especially in Washington, see him as a threat. They know that Musk has money, a huge audience, and the ability to quickly gain support.
That's why some politicians are already trying to attack Musk's credibility. They say he doesn't understand real-world politics, and they accuse him of being selfish or arrogant. They point to past controversies like his tweets about COVID or his labor disputes with employees. These critics want to remind voters that Musk is not a public servant. He's a businessman. They want to protect their own positions by weakening public trust in him.
Even within Musk's own fan base, there's some confusion. Many people admire his technology and leadership skills, but they're not sure if those qualities translate into political wisdom. They ask, can someone who builds cars and rockets really handle complex social issues like poverty, race, healthcare, or international diplomacy? Some of his fans say yes, but others are more cautious and want to wait and see how serious Musk really is.
And there's also concern about conflicts of interest. If Musk enters politics, how would he separate his business from his public actions? Would he make decisions that help Tesla or SpaceX instead of helping citizens? Would owning X give him an unfair advantage over other political voices? These are questions that lawyers, journalists, and watchdog groups are already starting to ask, and they will only grow louder if Musk moves forward.
But let's not forget, many people love the fact that Musk is not a traditional politician. They say, finally, someone who doesn't lie, doesn't follow party lines, and doesn't care about being politically correct. These supporters are tired of smooth-talking politicians who make promises and never deliver. They believe Musk's bold personality, his outsider status, and his record of innovation make him exactly what the country needs right now.
It's a fascinating moment in US politics. We're seeing a real split in how people think about leadership. Some want empathy, experience, and emotional intelligence. Others want strength, speed, and fresh thinking. Musk seems to offer the second type of leadership, and while that scares some people, it inspires others. That's why this idea of a Musk political party is so controversial and so powerful at the same time.
And of course, we can't ignore the international reaction. People around the world are watching this closely. Musk is a global figure, and if he enters politics, it could impact global markets, foreign policy, and even international tech regulations. Some leaders admire him, others worry about him, but no one can ignore him. That's how big his shadow has become on the world stage, and that's why this story matters beyond the borders of the United States.
So, to sum it up, the idea of Elon Musk starting a political party is getting strong reactions from all sides. There is excitement, hope, fear, and skepticism. Some people want him to run for president, others want him to stay away from politics forever. But the fact that we're even having this conversation shows how much power one person can have in today's world, especially when that person is Elon Musk.
In the next section of this podcast, we're going to look at the challenges Musk would face if he really decided to go forward with this idea. We'll talk about legal barriers, political resistance, organizing supporters, and building a real campaign. So stay with us, dear listeners. This story is far from over, and there's still so much more to learn. You're listening to The English Globe, where we make global news easy and useful for English learners everywhere. Now that we have seen the mixed reactions to Elon Musk's political ambitions, it's important to discuss the many roadblocks he would face if he really tried to build a third political party in the United States. Creating a new party is one thing, but winning elections and changing the system is a completely different challenge. Let's explore some of the most difficult barriers standing in Musk's way.
That's right, Adam. First and foremost, the American political system is built to favor the two major parties, the Democrats and Republicans. The electoral college system, ballot access laws, and campaign financing rules all make it incredibly difficult for third parties to succeed. Even if Musk has the money, getting on the ballot in all 50 states is a huge legal and logistical challenge requiring extensive organization.
Exactly, Julia. Every state has its own requirements for how many signatures must be collected and when, how much paperwork must be filed, and what deadlines must be met. Many states require tens of thousands of signatures just to get a candidate on the ballot. This means Musk would need a massive team of volunteers and legal experts to navigate the complex patchwork of rules across the country.
And even if Musk manages to get on the ballot, he faces another big problem: the lack of media coverage. Major news networks and newspapers tend to focus on Democratic and Republican candidates, especially during election seasons. Third-party candidates often struggle to get airtime or attention, which limits their ability to reach voters and spread their message. This creates a vicious cycle where lack of coverage leads to low visibility, which leads to low support.
There's also the problem of fundraising and campaign infrastructure. While Elon Musk personally has vast wealth, running a nationwide political campaign requires more than money. It needs experienced campaign managers, grassroots organizers, volunteers, and strategists. The Democrats and Republicans have built these systems over decades. Starting from scratch would be a huge effort, and even Musk's resources might not be enough without the right team.
Another important challenge is the loyalty of voters. Most Americans identify strongly with one of the two major parties and tend to vote along party lines. Convincing people to leave their longtime party loyalty and support a new, untested political party is incredibly difficult. This is especially true among older voters and rural populations, who tend to be more traditional and resistant to change.
And let's not forget about the role of political endorsements and support from established politicians. Most elected officials belong to the two main parties and are unlikely to publicly support a new party led by Musk. Without the backing of experienced politicians and party infrastructure, Musk's party could struggle to field candidates for important offices like Congress, governors, and state legislatures.
Legal battles could also slow down or block Musk's efforts. Established parties sometimes use lawsuits or other legal tactics to keep new parties off the ballot or to challenge their candidates. Musk's team would need strong legal support to defend against these attacks, and even then, the process could take months or years, diverting time and resources away from campaigning and organizing.
Additionally, there's the challenge of building a cohesive political platform. Musk is known for his innovative ideas, but politics requires detailed policies on a wide range of complex issues, from healthcare and education to foreign policy and social justice. Developing a clear, consistent platform that appeals to a broad electorate takes time, expertise, and input from many different voices.
And because Musk's views have sometimes been controversial or inconsistent, the new party would have to work hard to build trust and credibility. Voters want to know what a party stands for and how it will deliver results. If the platform seems unclear or contradictory, it could hurt the party's chances before it even gets started.
There's also the challenge of media scrutiny and public criticism. As a billionaire, Musk already faces intense public and media scrutiny. Entering politics would amplify this dramatically. Every tweet, statement, or business decision could be attacked or politicized, making it harder for Musk to control his public image or focus on campaigning.
Finally, Musk would have to deal with internal party management. Building a new party means bringing together people with different opinions and backgrounds. Managing disagreements, setting priorities, and creating a unified vision is essential but challenging. Without strong leadership and clear goals, new parties often fall apart or become fragmented quickly.
So, as exciting as the idea of a Musk political party is, the road ahead is filled with obstacles. But knowing Musk's history of overcoming difficult challenges, it wouldn't be surprising if he approaches these roadblocks with the same determination and creativity he uses in business.
That's true, Adam. And as listeners of the English Globe, it's fascinating for us to watch and learn from this unfolding story. It shows us not only how politics works in the real world, but also gives us new vocabulary and expressions related to leadership, elections, and government.
In the next section, we'll explore possible scenarios for the future. What might happen if Musk succeeds? What if he fails? And what could his movement mean for the future of American politics? Stay tuned, dear listeners, as we continue our journey through this captivating topic on the English Globe. As we move forward in our discussion, it's important to imagine what the future might hold for Elon Musk's bold political ambitions. What could happen if he actually succeeds in launching a third political party? And what if he fails? Both possibilities have significant implications, not only for the United States, but for the world. Let's explore these potential futures in detail.
Absolutely, Adam. Starting with success, if Musk's political party gains real support, it could transform the American political landscape. A new party could break the long-standing two-party system, creating more competition and forcing Democrats and Republicans to rethink their policies. It could introduce fresh ideas centered around technology, innovation, and efficiency, appealing especially to younger voters and independents.
Such a success could also inspire new political movements globally. Countries struggling with political polarization or outdated systems might look to the U.S. as an example of how a tech-savvy, outsider-led party can change politics. It could encourage more leaders outside the traditional political class to run for office, potentially increasing diversity and innovation in governments worldwide.
But success wouldn't come easily. Even if Musk's party wins some elections, governing would present new challenges. The party would need to build coalitions in Congress, navigate complex policy debates, and manage diverse opinions within its ranks. Leadership skills beyond entrepreneurship, like diplomacy, negotiation, and compromise, would become essential to turn campaign promises into real change.
Now, if Musk's party fails, it still wouldn't be the end of the story. Even a failed attempt could have lasting effects by pushing major parties to adopt some of Musk's ideas. For example, Democrats or Republicans might take on more science-based policies or embrace technology-friendly reforms to win back voters who left for Musk's movement. Sometimes, third parties influence politics without ever winning big.
A failed party could also serve as a warning about the limits of celebrity or business success in politics. It might show that building a political movement requires more than money and media presence. It demands trust, organization, and deep understanding of social issues. Musk's failure could encourage future candidates to prepare better before entering the political arena.
There's also the possibility that Musk could decide not to run for office himself, but still use his influence to support candidates or causes aligned with his values. This approach might allow him to shape politics without facing the direct challenges of campaigning and governing. Many billionaires use this strategy to impact politics from behind the scenes.
In any case, Musk's bold move is already shaking up political conversations. It forces people to think differently about leadership, democracy, and the role of technology in governance. Whether his party succeeds or fails, it's opening doors for new questions and new debates about what politics could look like in the 21st century.
And as English learners listening to this podcast, this is a great opportunity to learn important vocabulary related to politics and society. Words like coalition, polarization, influence, and governance are key to understanding global news today. We encourage you to keep listening and practicing because current events like this are a fantastic way to improve your English skills.
That's right, Adam. Understanding stories like Elon Musk's political ambitions not only helps you stay informed, but also gives you practical language tools. It shows how English is used in real-world discussions about leadership, innovation, and democracy. We hope this podcast inspires you to explore more about politics and language at the same time.
So, dear listeners, what do you think will happen? Will Elon Musk change American politics forever, or will his idea fade away? We want to hear from you. Please leave a comment below telling us where you're listening from and what your opinion is on this bold new political move.
And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the English Globe for more interesting and useful podcasts. We'll continue to bring you the latest global news, explained clearly for English learners like you. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep learning.
Thank you for joining us for this exciting episode. We'll be back soon with the next section where we discuss how Elon Musk's political movement might affect the economy and technology sectors. Until then, take care and keep exploring the world through English with the English Globe. As we approach the later stages of our discussion, it's essential to understand how Elon Musk's potential third political party could affect two of the most important areas in today's world: the economy and technology. Musk is already a major player in both fields, so if he enters politics, the impact could be far-reaching and complex. Let's break down what this might look like.
Absolutely, Adam. Musk's companies, such as Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink, have revolutionized industries like electric vehicles, space exploration, and brain-computer interfaces. If his political party gains influence, we might see policies that strongly support these kinds of cutting-edge technologies. This could mean increased government funding for research and development, relaxed regulations, and incentives for startups in these areas.
On the economic front, Musk has often criticized traditional government regulations and bureaucracy as obstacles to innovation. A Musk-led party might push for significant deregulation, aiming to reduce the costs and delays companies face when developing new products. This could encourage entrepreneurship and investment, but also raise concerns about consumer protection and environmental standards.
There's also the potential for Musk's party to influence energy policies. Given Tesla's leadership in electric vehicles and solar energy, the party could accelerate the shift away from fossil fuels towards renewable energy sources. This would not only impact the environment, but also reshape industries and jobs related to energy production, manufacturing, and infrastructure.
However, there could be challenges. For example, while deregulation might speed up innovation, it could also lead to less oversight and increased risks, such as safety issues or data privacy concerns. Balancing the need for freedom to innovate with the protection of consumers and citizens would be a critical challenge for any Musk-led political movement.
And when it comes to technology, Musk's party might promote policies encouraging the development of artificial intelligence, automation, and space exploration. These technologies could create new jobs and industries, but also disrupt existing ones. Workers in traditional sectors might face unemployment or need retraining, raising important social and economic questions.
That's a very important point. A political party that pushes rapid technological change must also consider social safety nets and education systems that prepare people for a changing job market. Without careful planning, innovation could increase inequality and leave many behind. Whether Musk's party would address these concerns remains to be seen.
Another area to watch is digital privacy and data security. As technology advances, protecting citizens' personal information becomes more complex. Musk's political platform might include new laws and regulations to safeguard privacy while still allowing businesses to innovate. Finding the right balance will be key to maintaining public trust.
And don't forget the potential global effects. If Musk's party promotes ambitious space policies like colonizing Mars or pushes for U.S. leadership in AI, it could spark new international competition. Other countries might accelerate their own programs in response, leading to a new era of technological rivalry or collaboration, depending on how diplomacy unfolds.
Economically, a Musk political party might also impact tax policies. Musk has criticized high taxes on innovation and business growth in the past. His party might advocate for lower corporate taxes, especially for tech companies and startups, to encourage investment and economic expansion. But this could create debate about how to fund government programs and services.
So, in summary, the economic and technological implications of a Musk-led political party are complex and wide-ranging. It could bring rapid innovation and growth, but also new challenges around regulation, social equity, and international relations. How these issues are addressed will be crucial to the party's success and impact.
For English learners, Following these discussions is a great way to build vocabulary related to economics, technology, and politics. Words like deregulation, innovation, automation, and privacy come up frequently in news and debates. Understanding these terms helps you stay informed and participate in global conversations.
As we near the end of this episode, we encourage you to think about these topics and how they connect with your own experiences and interests. Technology and economics affect all of us, no matter where we live. Listening to podcasts like The English Globe can help you learn English while understanding the world better.
Thank you for staying with us through this fascinating discussion about Elon Musk's potential political party. In our final section, we'll wrap up with some key takeaways and thoughts about what this means for the future of politics and society. Stay tuned and keep practicing your English with us.
As we reach the conclusion of our in-depth discussion about Elon Musk's bold move to potentially create a third political party in the United States, it's important to reflect on the key points we've covered today. This topic is more than just politics. It's about how leadership, innovation, and public trust shape the future of democracy in the 21st century.
Exactly, Adam. We began by understanding the historical challenges third parties face in America, and then explored why the current political climate in 2025 might be ripe for change. Elon Musk's unique position as a tech entrepreneur with a global influence gives him a platform that many traditional politicians do not have, making his political ambitions both exciting and controversial.
We also imagined what a Musk-led political party might look like, one focused on innovation, personal freedom, efficiency, and science-based policies. We discussed how this party could attract young voters, tech professionals, and independent thinkers, while also facing skepticism from critics and established political figures.
The reactions to Musk's potential political involvement are mixed, ranging from enthusiasm among supporters who want fresh ideas to caution and concern from those worried about the risks of billionaire influence and unpredictable leadership. The media and politicians are watching closely, highlighting how disruptive this move could be.
Of course, we talked about the significant roadblocks that Musk would encounter. From complex legal hurdles and ballot access challenges to the need for a strong campaign infrastructure and a clear, coherent political platform, building a new party is no small feat. Even Musk's resources might not guarantee success without a dedicated team and strategic planning.
Looking ahead, the future of Musk's political ambitions is uncertain. Success could change the American political landscape and inspire global movements, while failure might still push major parties to adopt new ideas. Regardless, his involvement is already influencing how we think about leadership, innovation, and democracy in a rapidly changing world.
We also examined the economic and technological implications of a Musk-led party, noting how policies favoring deregulation, innovation, clean energy, and advanced technology could reshape industries and jobs. But we also acknowledged the challenges of balancing rapid progress with social equity, privacy, and global diplomacy.
For English learners listening today, this topic offers a valuable chance to expand your vocabulary and comprehension related to politics, economics, and technology. Paying attention to real-world news stories like this helps you learn language in context, making it easier to remember and use in your own conversations.
Before we end, we'd love to hear from you, our dear listeners. What do you think about Elon Musk's idea to create a third political party? Do you believe it will succeed or fail? How do you think it might change politics in your country? Please leave your comments below, telling us where you're listening from and sharing your opinions.
And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the English Globe for more engaging and educational podcasts. We are committed to bringing you interesting topics from around the world, explained clearly for English learners like you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this fascinating journey through one of the most talked about political ideas of our time. We hope this podcast has helped you learn new English vocabulary and understand complex global issues a little better.
Stay curious, keep practicing your English every day, and remember, learning a language opens doors to new ideas and new opportunities. We'll be back soon with another exciting episode. Until then, take care and goodbye from the English Globe.